Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Macon Campbell and this is maconSTUFF. So I've been wanting to build a raised planter for growing vegetables at home for quite some time now, and I've never really gotten around to it. Until now. Now, a general planter box is a fairly basic construction, but I didn't want to have it open because I wanted to protect my vegetables from birds and other critters trying to eat them. So I wanted to come up with some kind of design that I could close off completely. So let's jump over to the computer and I can show you what I came up with. Okay, so this is the initial design I came up with. Not sure what I was thinking with these slanted doors in the front. Perhaps I was thinking of saving some material, but the more I thought about it, it wasn't very practical, as the planting medium was going to be filled up to about here, which means I'm going to have to hang over the edge here to plant and maintain the vegetables inside. So I scrapped that idea and moved on to this. Now, while it doesn't look as fancy, I think it's a whole lot more practical. Initially, I was thinking of having the doors open to the top like this, but then I'd have to have something to hold the door in the open position. So I decided to instead have the door open to the side like this, eliminating that problem. So being that I designed this in 3D on my computer armed with nothing but a tape measure, it's difficult to judge the size of this in the real world. So I went ahead and I modeled a low poly human to represent myself. This way I've got a much better idea of how big these planters are going to be compared to me. Now I know what you must be thinking, this doesn't look anything like me, and I get why you'd say that, so I thought I'd fix that. Let me just change this. There we go, that looks a whole lot more accurate. So while we're still here in 3D, I thought it'd be a good idea to see what these planters are going to look like in the spot I allocated for them in my garden. There weren't a lot of options, but this is the best place I think for them to go. From what I can tell, I think it's going to look pretty good. So let's jump back to the workshop and get started. So once I had my design set out, I used that to put together a cutting list which looks like this. And then in order to help me visualize how this whole thing is going to go together, I came up with this, which is basically just all of the parts color coded. I've got the cutting list here at the back along with the actual model in the front, so I can very easily see where each and every one of these parts goes. This is definitely going to help a lot when it comes to putting this whole thing together. I am planning to have this model and these aids available on my website, so if you're interested in that, check the link in the description. Just bear in mind that these plans are in metric and not imperial. If there are a ton of requests for it, I may adjust it and include a set of plans that have imperial measurements as well. But for the time being, this is what will be up there. Just also bear in mind that if you use these plans, there might be some measurements that you might have to tweak a bit to accommodate the size and dimensions of lumber that you have available in your area. So I went out this morning and bought most of the materials that I need for this project. So let me get all this stuff out of the van, and once I'm done with that, we can start cutting. Damn, if only it was that easy in real life. So now that I've worked up a sweat, it's time to start cutting. So I'm going to grab my trusty cutting list. I'm going to start from the largest pieces and work my way down. So let's do it. Okay, so we finally got all of the cutting done. Now, as much as I don't want to do it, I think I'm going to run a sander over all of these pieces. The finish is fairly rough and there are a lot of sharp edges everywhere. If I skip this step, I'm pretty sure I'm going to regret it later. Once I've done all the sanding, I've decided I'm going to add a wood primer to all of the parts before assembly. Initially my plan was just to put a top coat over everything once it was assembled, but I'm a bit worried that I'm going to get water seeping into all of the joints because I'm not going to be gluing any of the joints. Everything is going to be put together with screws. So that leaves a much higher risk of water seeping into the joints and ruining my wood. Okay. So I've decided to add the primer to all of the parts before assembly so that I have primer in between all of the joints. Once everything is assembled, then I'll go ahead and add a top coat to everything. Let's get started. Okay guys, all the sanding is done and I'm not going to lie, that sucked. It took me pretty much the whole day to sand all of these pieces. I was hoping to get onto painting the primer today, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I'm going to have to get started on that tomorrow. And if the sanding is any indicator, I'm guessing painting the primer is going to take just as long. Okay, it's day 3. Let's get painting. I've got all my wood packed out here, cleaned and sanded. So let's do it. Okay guys, it's day 4, time to start putting these things together. Now, just before we start, something I'd like to mention is that none of the dimensions down the side of these planters are set, except for the opening where the doors have to fit in. So to make it a bit easier, the spaces that I have between all of these cross members, I'm going to remove and I'm going to put them right up against each other. That way I don't have to worry about leaving even gaps between everything. So the way I'm probably going to put these together is by constructing the panels first. And I think the easiest one to do and manage is going to be these 2 side panels. So I'm going to put those together first, then I can start filling in the gaps. So let's do it. Okay, another day gone and we're finished with assembly at least. Good thing it's Saturday today, so my kids weren't in school, so on and off I've had them in and out of the shop helping me here and there, and I loved every single minute of it. Were it not for them helping me here, I probably wouldn't have finished this today. So if you're watching this guys, thank you very much. I love you to bits. So all that's left now is to put on the top coat of paint, apply the netting around the whole structure and to line it with plastic, and then I should be ready to fill it up with soil and plant my vegetables. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the finished product in this video because it's already getting pretty long, but if not, make sure to follow me on Instagram because I'll definitely be posting pictures there once I've planted all of the vegetables. So I'll be carrying on with all of that tomorrow, so see you then. Okay guys, it's day 5 and I'm really hoping to get this stuff done today. Luckily I've got some help today in the form of Titus, who is my gardener. So I'm going to make as much use of him as I can because I still need to go to the hardware store to buy some hinges for these doors, which I totally forgot about. So let's let's move along. Okay guys, we're done and I feel pretty broken. I'm sure this video can't possibly convey how tough this was. I feel like I've been mauled by a tiger and the sun has burned the living daylights out of me. This African sun is no joke. Now, even though I feel like I'm about to keel over, the result of this project makes everything totally worth it. I'm so impressed by how everything turned out. For those of you that don't know me and my channel, I'm not a professional woodworker. In fact, I'm not a professional anything. That's why every time I put myself out there and try and make something, I'm so pleasantly surprised and happy with the results that I get. So basically what I'm trying to say is if I can do this, I'm pretty sure that anyone else can. So let me not waste any more time. I still have to go and edit the rest of this video. As I mentioned earlier, these plans will be available on my website and you are more than welcome to contact me through the website if you have any questions. So once again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to see the finished result all planted out, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'll definitely be posting pictures there. So enjoy the rest of your day, and as always,
until next time, keep making stuff, y'all.